And welcome back to EDH Deck Building. I am your host, Demo, and we got more spoilers coming out. At some point, I'm just going to have to stop saying, everyone's going to have to stop saying that. It literally is at this point never ending. Not only are they constantly having new cards come out, but in fact, they're having cards come out from different sets at the same time at this rate. You really would have to be super on the ball to keep up with all of it, and also even be able to organize, okay, which one's coming out where and all that kind of stuff. I know it kind of is my job, but this is a deck building channel. That's mostly the focus here, about building decks in Commander. Covering spoilers and new products is sort of just the thing I do on the side, because of course it does affect the Commander format. And of course, as I've alluded to recently, I will be doing it a lot less, because just for me personally, I'm becoming a lot less excited about it. We do have Bloomburrow coming out next, I believe, which sort of has this, I don't know what kind of theme you would call it, I guess cute cuddly animals sort of theme. I actually have a theory that I talked about with my patrons recently, where I think this set is entirely born out of Lutri Spellchaser. And the reason why is because, for those who weren't around when that card came out, that card got spoiled, and the reaction from a lot of people was, oh, look at the cute cuddly otter. Now I can make a commander deck with an otter as my commander. And of course, that card got banned immediately before it was even available. And there was a lot of people that were annoyed by that, because they wanted to make an otter deck. And I think Wizards of the Coast saw that. I think they saw the reaction people had to being able to make an otter commander deck, or the fact that it got banned and people couldn't use it. And they're like, maybe we'll make an entire set with cute cuddly animals, because, people are going to want to make commander decks with them, or just play the cards in general. Of course, that's what we're seeing a lot from this set. Lots of otters and, cute cuddly animals and stuff like that. And carrot cake. It's literally a cake made of carrots. I don't know. It's not my thing, that's for sure. One of the reasons why I probably won't be doing spoiler videos much anymore is because I think largely they will be negative, and a lot of people don't want to see the negative videos. So, all right, keep that opinion to myself. I have patrons that are excited about this stuff, me less so. One thing I noticed for sure, though, that they are doing, because again, they're spoiling like several sets at a time now, is they are very much focusing on certain themes with sets. That's something we didn't really see throughout the history of Magic that much. We saw it a little bit. Like Ice Age sort of had a snow theme. Okay, yeah. There was kind of that a little bit, but not a ton. Now we really see it. Like Ravnica Murders of Karlov Manor was like this Clue murder mystery theme. Then you had Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which of course was a Western theme. Now Bloomburrow is like this, again, I don't know what you call it, the cutesy cuddly animals theme. Then you have Duskmorn, which is also coming out, which is like a modern day horror theme, which again, a lot of people don't love. And then, of course, on top of all that, you have the Universes Beyond stuff, which, of course, that's all in a certain theme as well. And I think what they're doing now is, because they're coming out with so many cards, a lot of these sets are focused on these very specific themes to get the people to run out and buy it if they like that thing, right? So if you like the Bloomburrow aesthetic, then you're going to want to go run out and buy those cards. If you like the Duskmorn aesthetic, you're going to run out and buy those cards because you like, and I have patrons that are real excited about that set because they like the, modern day horror theme, and hey, look, it's a chainsaw and it's all that kind of stuff. Again, not my thing. So I will not be talking about, really, I don't think, any spoilers from any of these sets coming out, but I build a lot of decks on my channel. That's what I do. And in fact, I already built a deck for a Bloomburrow commander that had been spoiled recently. So that's what I will be talking about for the rest of this video. So the commander that I'm building around here is Bria Riptide Rogue, 2 blue and a red otter rogue, 3/3 with prowess. Other creatures you control have prowess. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. So this is another deck in a long line of me attempting to make an Izzet deck for myself. I just never can manage to do it. And in particular, one of the things that bothers me a little bit about Izzet commanders is they are Not always, but almost always in the spell slinger theme, casting instants and sorceries and stuff like that. And I don't really want a deck like that. I mean, first of all, you're just doing another Is It deck that's doing that. Plus, yeah, it's a little bit of a boring theme that I'm not particularly attracted to. And of course, a lot of people will say that this commander is kind of doing that. All right, the prowess ability, all that. Well, isn't that the spell slinger theme? Well, no, it is non-creature, right? Prowess is non-creature spell. So it doesn't have to be instants and sorceries. And what I decided to do here is an aura theme. This is an Is It aura deck, and I actually think it's a pretty good commander for that because, of course, the prowess is bumping your team, so of course all your creatures having prowess, that works good with the auras and putting auras on your commander as well. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control can't be blocked, so I might cast an aura. And of course the auras are going to be pumping our team and giving them abilities as well, making them unblockable. Seems pretty good, right? So if I have like a curiosity, for example, that's an aura that's obviously going to fit this theme, and obviously it also fits making my creatures unblockable because I want to get in for damage and draw cards, right? So it actually kind of does fit here. And there is a fair amount of support here as well. So for example, the red cards, you're going to get stuff like Champion of Flame, which of course does the aura and equipment thing. And people typically will use this in their likely Boros aura and equipment decks, right? 1 and a red human warrior, 1/1 with trample. Champion of the Flame gets +2/+2 for each aura or equipment attached to it. So let's do the aura theme instead of the equipment theme here, right? So if we just throw 1 aura on this guy, now he is a 3/3 with trample. And of course, again, he's got the prowess. So he's going to get that bump every turn as well, right? Velduck, Keeper of Flame. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Velduck, Keeper of Flame, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So again, I don't know how many people are doing an aura theme in their Velduck deck, but I think it works really, really good here in this deck. Broodkeeper is one of the reasons why I decided to investigate this theme. I talked about this card in a 10 cards video a couple of weeks ago, and I actually think this ability is pretty good. So 3 and a red human shaman 2/3. Whenever an aura becomes attached to Broodkeeper, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying. That is also pumpable. And of course, in this deck, we have these enchantments like Gitu Friar Breathing, which we can cast with Flash, which is great, but also we can pay a red and return it to owner's hand. So it's very easy to repeatedly get that effect off of our Broodkeeper. So of course, that's a great fit in this deck. Storm Herald, 2 and a red human shaman 3/2 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. How fantastic is that, right? Exile those auras at the beginning of your next end step. If those auras would leave the battlefield, exile them instead. Of course, that's not great, but in a blue-red deck, not a lot of ways to get auras out of your graveyard anyway, so this is a great way to get some extra use out of all those auras that likely will eventually end up in our graveyard. And again, this is another one of those cards that probably doesn't see any play in the format because it doesn't really fit a lot of themes. Of course, Rain Academy Chancellor is a slam dunk here. This is another reason why I decided to explore this theme, because I have a Rain Academy Chancellor deck. It's great in the blue aura theme. And again, I had some ideas for the red stuff. So I'm like, okay, why don't we combine the blue and the red? So Rain, when you are a permanent you control becomes target of spell or ability and opponent controls, you get to draw a card, which is great. But if it's enchanted, you get to draw 2 cards. So that, of course, is fantastic card advantage. So again, as I've said before, Rain is a card you could put in any commander deck to get good card advantage when your opponents target your stuff, but becomes even better, of course, if you can throw an enchantment on it. Iridescent Drake, 3 and a blue Drake, 2/2 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, put target aura card from your graveyard onto the battlefield attached to Iridescent Drake. So again, one of the few ways we can actually get those auras back out of our graveyard. Rootwater Shaman, 2 and a blue Merfolk Shaman 2/2. You may cast aura spells with enchant creature as though they had flash. So that's pretty fantastic. And Rootwater Matriarch, a really interesting one too. Blue, Merfolk 2/3. Tap, gain control of target creature for as long as that creature's enchanted. So now we can cast those enchantments on our opponent's creatures and then gain control of them with Rootwater Matriarch. Pretty great. Some other cards that fit in this very non-typical theme, at least in Is It colors. Scarab of the Unseen is a funny one that I have in my Rain deck. 2 mana artifact. Tap it and sacrifice it. Return all auras attached to target permanent you own to their owner's hand. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So one of the big downsides of aura decks is if I throw 2 or 3 auras on a creature, of course, it just becomes a prime target for removal, because if the creature dies, then I lose all the auras as well. Here, I can, in response, sack my Scarab of the Unseen, return all those auras to my hand. I still lose the creature, but getting all those auras back is great, and it has the cantrip as well, so you're not really out anything here. And again, this is a deck where getting those cast triggers with the auras is also really important, so you might even want to just return the auras to your hand just to get the prowess triggers and, when you cast a non-creature spell, all of that as well. So you even could use it in a lot of other situations in this deck. Thran Golem is another one that I have in my rain deck. Funny old card that happens to fit this theme. 5 mana, artifact creature golem, 3/3, as long as it is enchanted. It gets +2/+2 and has flying, first strike, and trample. So again, even if we just throw a curiosity on this guy, it's a 5/5 flying, first strike, trample creature with the prowess as well. Pretty threatening creature. The modified theme also works here. That's right. Of course, creatures with auras on them are modified. So Thundering Reiju is a personal favorite of mine in the modified theme. 2 red, spirit, 3/3 with haste. When it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Reiju. So all the creatures we control with auras on them are going to deal damage to our opponents. We are targeting ourselves a lot. So the heroic mechanic does work here. Like Metalitas Astronomer is a really neat fit in the deck. 1 and a blue, human wizard, 1/3. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Metalitas Astronomer, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them. Put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Again, another card that probably doesn't necessarily fit in a whole lot of decks, but happens to be a great fit here. So there is my Bria Riptide Rogue Auras theme in Izzet colors. That's about the extent of how much I'm going to be talking about Bloomburrow. Is maybe I'll make a couple decks with some of these commanders. If you're at all interested, the deck list is in the description below. Feel free to give it a run yourself. That's it for today, though, and thanks for tuning in.